Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 1 of our Solasta 2 Early Access Sorcadin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, admin notes. Obviously, this is the start of a new playthrough, which is expected to last 6 weeks, just like the last two have of Solasta 2 Early Access. I have something planned after this, unless Tactical Adventures releases some new content or something like that for early access. If they do, I'm probably still going to do that thing when we come down to the end of this live stream. I just may have another series of Solasta 2 to explore the new content, and then I will add a second live stream in the week for that new thing. I don't want to give it away. It's not something that you've probably seen before. Um, it's something new. So sorry, M. It's not going to be it's not going to be what you want. Um, but the plan is that I will probably start up a second live stream again. When that live stream is going to be playing is up for debate right now. I've mentioned before that I'm getting my trail legs back underneath me, and part of that means I've got a gear refresh that I'm in the middle of. And coming up halfway through this month, I'll probably be finished up with the gear testing and all of that sort of stuff, which means I'm going to move into field testing. What that means is that during the weekends, after I finish with my Saturday live stream, I will load my backpack and hiking gear up into my car. I'll drive out to one of the national or state parks around here, and I'll spend the rest of the weekend out hiking and backpacking to do field testing on all of that gear. That means I probably won't be able to do a regular Sunday live stream because I'm going to be out Saturday afternoon and Sunday doing that. I wouldn't be back until Sunday late afternoon, possibly evening. So I'm going to have to try and work that out and figure out how it's going to work going forward. But I think I do want to open up a second live stream again. I do appreciate y'all being patient while I haven't had one, but we're going to have to kind of work around a little bit of my extracurricular activities that I've got going on right now. Because I'm really enjoying getting back into backpacking and that sort of stuff and don't want to let that go. So pay attention to the post tab on the channel and my social media, and we'll kind of keep up to date on what we're going to do with it. And hey, Rudy, thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate it. Um, Daniel, can you hear me? You said I'm muted, but OBS shows that I'm going through. Okay. Rudy and Daniel, let me know if I'm still muted for some reason. So, but Rudy, thank you very much for being here. And I'll actually type in the chat. So I just typed in chat. We'll see if that comes through real quick and see if there's some audio issues that. Oh, okay. All right, good. You can hear me. Um, so again, thank you, Rudy, for being here. As always, I very much appreciate my channel members. Thank you very much for the support. Good to see you again. Thank you for being here. And Daniel, again, thanks for being here as well. I do appreciate all of my community coming out and supporting the channel just by viewing it. So thank you very much for that. So on the start of this stream, as I mentioned in the description about this live stream series, we're going to be exploring multiclassing in this live stream. That is arguably going to gimp my characters a little bit because we have a level cap of 4. If we had a level cap of 5, it would help a lot more, because a lot of the multi-class dips and combinations that I'm going to be exploring here are going to require a 2-level dip into a separate class. And that means that I'm only left with 2 other levels, which means I can't select a subclass. And that's... And I'm obviously going to be missing out on feats, other than the origin feats. So, arguably, this is going to be a bit harder for me to deal with, because the characters aren't going to be as strong as the pure characters that we've dealt with in the past 2 live streams. But I think it's important that we kind of explore multi-classing with the 5.5e, or the 2024 5e rule set from D&D, so that you can know how much planning, or what planning has to go into multi-classing when you start. It's not like Baldur's Gate 3, if you're familiar with that, where you could just do whatever you wanted. Solasta 2 has never been that way. And while there are ways to lighten up some of the rules, and there are obviously going to be mods to help change how some of the 5e rule set's going to work in the game, right now in early access, you don't have a lot of those options. So you're following the rule set, and that means that you have to have some planning. There's no respecking of your character in this game. There probably won't be in the full version of the game either, but there probably will be mods that will allow you to do that. So you kind of have to step up and make some decisions early on in your character creation to plan for the future of what you want that character to be. Very, very similar to what we have to deal with in tabletop. So on that note, let's go ahead and jump in here, and we'll kind of explore our character creation with a new adventure. So with the new adventure here, we're going to play in authentic mode. And this is the rules as written settings of the game. If you're familiar with D&D, if you're familiar with the 5e rule set, and specifically the 5.5 rule set, or 5.5e rule set, this is a mode that should be fairly familiar with you, or to you. It should also be something that, if you've played the previous Solasta Crown of the Magister game, you should be familiar with. There is Explorer mode, which offers some changes to the difficulty, making it a little bit easier, but we're going to be sticking with authentic mode here. The only campaign that we have is the Mark of Mariake here. It starts at level 1. It was made by Tactical Adventures. So let's move into creating our party. And we'll look at our first character. Now, we're going to go through advanced creation, as we always do. We are very familiar with the rule sets, so I'm going to kind of walk you through what I do here. And we're going to be starting with our Sorcadin. Now, I said a Sorcadin because that's going to be the multi-class. It's going to be a Paladin Sorcerer multi-class. Now, if I was building a Sorcadin in tabletop, I would not necessarily select Paladin as my starting level, or my starting character class. I would pick Sorcerer. The reason for that is because of the saving throws. A Sorcadin is a... well, there are a few different builds of the Sorcadin, but the Sorcadin is really a 2 Paladin, 18 Sorcerer. If you go with the most common build of the class, and that is to maximize the Sorcerer spell slots and damage output for those spells, along with the Divine Smites that you get from a Paladin. And what's important with that is that you can buff yourself up before you go into some of those combat encounters with concentration spells that then you can use the rest of the remaining spell slots for Divine Smite. So how you would normally build this out is a 1 Sorcerer, 2 Paladin, and then 17 Sorcerer levels after that. You would start with Sorcerer so that you get the Constitution saving throw proficiencies here. You kind of act as a pure Sorcerer to start with, as a spellcaster, not a mainline damage dealer, until you get your level up, and then you level into Paladin. You don't get these saving throws at that point, your proficiencies at that point, but you get all the other choices that go along with it, and then you can start swapping your gear out and all that sort of stuff to start being more of a frontline type of damage dealer. I have that option here, and in the full game, I would probably do that. In early access, though, here, there's a rather large encounter at the start, or at the end of the prologue. And then once we finish the prologue, we move into another pretty hefty encounter. And I'm going to have some frontline help from a fighter perspective in the end of the prologue fight. But I'm not going to have any starting out the fight after the prologue. And having only the rest of my party with somebody being kind of a frontline fighter at that point, I'm going to be losing a bit of upfront fighting skill if I build this Sorcadin out like I normally would. That being said, I'm not really interested in building this out how I normally would anyway, because I'm limited to level 4. And this build, you're never going to see the true functionality of this build here. So I'm going to start with Paladin for this, just keeping in mind that in the full version of the game, or in something where I'd have access to more levels, I probably would not build a Sorcadin this way. But here, I want the additional frontline tank damage dealing stuff up front, because of the way the game is laid out. So we're going to get Charisma and Wisdom saving throws. The Charisma saving throws are fairly pointless in the game. The Wisdom saving throws are good. It keeps you from being mind controlled and that sort of stuff. But it's still not nearly as beneficial as getting the Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration when I get hit, to maintain those buffs, because I would be a frontline fighter at this point, and I'm going to be getting hit quite a bit, and I need to maintain those buffs with a Constitution saving throw. So normally I wouldn't do this, but let's go ahead and start with Paladin here. And we're going to go with Dwarf. Now, arguably, I should go with Human here. And that's because it's going to get me access to the Savage Attacker Origin feat here, which just straight up buffs your damage. I want to have one of all 4 races that are in the game right now as my characters. So again, I'm going to be sacrificing a little bit just in the interest of showing off all the different ancestries again. But arguably I should be taking Human for this, but I'm going to go with Dwarf. Now this isn't bad. We get dark vision out of it, which is always good. Being able to fight in the dark and not having disadvantage is always a good thing. Dwarven Resilience, the resistance to poison damage, is situationally very, very useful, especially for a frontline fighter. Dwarven Toughness is obviously good. Stone Cunning is pretty worthless. Well, it is entirely worthless right now in the game. It might be more useful in the full version, but we'll kind of see. So I'm going to go with Dwarf here. And for my background, I'm going to take Aristocrat. There's really only a couple of options here for what I would do for a Sorcadin. But for my Sorcerer, I need Charisma. For my Paladin, I need Strength and Constitution. So Aristocrat here meets all of those categories, even though we're really not going to be utilizing all those categories. We're only really going to be using Constitution and Charisma. So if I look through these and I look for other things, we have Constitution and Charisma here with Occultist. It gives us the ability to improve Dexterity, but I'm not going to be improving it anyway. That would get me the Origin feat for Magic Initiate Wizard, which would allow me to cast or get 2 other cantrips as well. Cantrips just aren't a thing that I'm going to be utilizing that much in as a paladin. So looking through the rest of this, I need Charisma. Charisma and Dexterity Intelligence, 2 things that I don't really need for this build at all. And Wanderer, there's no Charisma. So Aristocrat's really the only thing that's going to benefit us here. Getting us the Origin feat skilled, where we can gain proficiency in 3 other skills, is nice. Granted skills and insight proficiency and insight and persuasion are, again, okay. So we'll start off with Aristocrat here. Now for our ability scores, I'm going to move to the next page to start with my +2 and +1 distributions here. Then I'm going to go back and work on my full ability score. So I'm going to add 1 into Constitution and 2 into Charisma. Okay, now in the full version of the game, that is what I would do. Here, since I'm not going to have access to feats to buff my ability scores at all, it's again fairly pointless. Yeah, I would be far better off trying to even these out to even numbers, because I'm just limited in what I can do in early access. But this is one thing I'm going to show you how I would build this aspect of it and not cater it to early access. So for my strength, I'm going to want 15, and that's going to allow me to, 1, hit more often with my weapons, because I'm going to be strength-based to start. But 2, it's going to allow me to wear heavy armor, which is the big aspect of putting my strength at 15. My dexterity, I'm going to leave exactly where it is. My constitution is going to be 16. Constitution is big for a frontline fighter, so I'm going to up that to 16. My intelligence and my wisdom, I'm going to leave exactly where they are, and my charisma is going to be 17. It's not a glass cannon because I have high constitution, but it can be a bit of a glass cannon that I'm going to be able to deal out some really high damage with it later on in the build, but I'm going to be really susceptible to other things. I'm not going to be going high in the initiative order because my dexterity's low, and I'm going to be susceptible to mind control spells and things like that that happen around me. So it's things that in the classic Sorcadin build I could work out later on in my build. I'm just not going to have that ability to in this. So now my proficiencies. So I'm going to start with this, because of my high charisma, is going to be my frontline talking person as well. So I've got a +5 in persuasion right now that was granted by the aristocrat background. So I'm going to add in intimidation. Athletics is always good. It's allowing me to improve my strength checks for things like climbing, jumping, swimming. It also applies to pushing and grappling and things like that. So for my weapon masteries, if you go all the way back to class, and scroll to the bottom, you'll be able to see what weapons and armor you're going to start with. Okay, so I'm going to have a longsword. Now during the first part of this, I'm not going to be able to take a long rest, so I won't be able to adjust my weapon masteries in the game. So I want to make sure I'm picking weapon masteries that are going to be working for the build that I have, even if they're not the best weapon masteries later on. I want to be able to utilize as many weapon masteries as I possibly can throughout this. So I'm going to have a longsword. So for my weapon masteries, I want to do a longsword. Now, I don't have a light crossbow. I have javelins, which are slow, but I'm going to be changing a weapon from somebody over to my paladin, and I'm going to give them a light crossbow. So that'll give me slow as well. So for my languages, you just want to make sure that you have all the languages covered by your party members here. So I'm going to take Dwarvish and Orc, and I'm going to make a change here to my notes. Okay. So Dwarvish and Orc. And then, because of the skilled feat, I can now get proficiencies in 3 more skills. So again, Deception is my charisma-based one, my frontline talker. That gets me Deception, Intimidation, and Persuasion, which are all good options to have. Performance is another charisma-based one. There's actually a performance check that's pretty high in a random encounter that we found last time. So I want to make sure I've got somebody with a +5 in performance. As far as the last one, it doesn't really matter. None of the things that I have left are skills that I need. So I'm just going to throw some into animal handling here, just as a thing. I could throw it into acrobatics, but it doesn't, again, well, I guess I will. It doesn't really matter what I throw it into. So for your spells, you're not supposed to have Divine Smite here at level 1. I'll just say that right now. This is definitely a bug. This is not in the 5e rule set. I've reported it on the forums. So it's not something that should be here, and if you take it, it's going to break how Divine Smite works when you get it at level 2. So do not take it. I know you're tempted to get that additional damage bonus during the prologue, but don't do it. It's going to break how things work later on. So I'm going to take Bless. And again, Bless would be something that's really nice to have that Constitution saving throw on. Because it's a concentration spell. You can see in the upper right hand corner. I'm a frontline fighter. I'm going to be taking hits. And being able to maintain Bless while I am taking hits is why I would be starting with a Sorcadin to begin with. Or a Sorcerer to begin with. I'm not doing that here, so Bless is going to be kind of going up and down, so to speak. But we'll see how we can work around it. The next is Divine Favor. This will last you for 1 minute, which is 10 turns, which is longer than almost all the fights in the game are going to take. And it's not a concentration spell. It just gives you a flat 1d4 radiant bonus, damage bonus to all your weapon or damage rolls. Okay, so now before we do that, we're going to edit our appearance. We're going to change our body shape here and the rest of it. I don't really care. This is going to be Dave. The personality types don't really matter as well. I'll make him the hero though. The voice here.
That might be so, but we still haven't worked out what we're supposed to be doing yet.
So that's fine. So we'll save that, and I think we're good. Let me just check my notes. Yes, I think so. Okay, so now our second character here. This one's going to be a fighter, but it's not going to be what you think as I build this out. And as I go through it, you'll see why. The reason I'm starting with fighter here is because of the fighting style selection. Now, shielding is great. Defense is good. If you're going to be a two-handed weapon dealer, great weapon is amazing. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to pick two-weapon fighting. what this allows me to do is I can add my ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. When I use my offhand attack with my bonus action, normally you do not get to add your ability score modifier to the damage. This allows me to do that, and you will kind of see how that's going to play out as the build progresses. Okay, but I'm going to kind of keep this a little bit of a secret right now. You'll be able to see probably how I'm going to be dealing with, or what I'm going to be doing with this. But for now, I'm starting with 1 level in fighter. Okay, for this, I'm going to be halfling. Brave is good. The frightened condition can be very detrimental, giving you disadvantage on your attack rolls and that sort of stuff. So having advantage on that saving throw is good. Nimbleness, meaning that I can move through an enemy that's a size larger than me to get to a space behind them, is really useful. Halfling luck is just great. It always is. When I roll a 1 on a d20, I can re-roll the die and must use the new result. It's just a great way to avoid those nat 1s. And naturally stealthy. I can take the hide action even when you are obscured only by a creature that's at least 1 size larger than you. So if I move behind a normal size creature, I can take the hide action, okay, if I want. It's not something that plays out a lot in this game, but in tabletop, naturally stealthy is awesome. It's great. So now for my background. I'm going to go with Wanderer. Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution. For a fighter, Strength and Constitution are obviously useful. Dexterity is also very, very useful to be able to go early in the turn order. So all 3 of these are really good. It's going to get me granted skills in animal handling and survival, and it gets me the origin feat Savage Attacker, which again is great. It's basically a straight boost in damage. It's giving you advantage on the damage roll for your weapon that you hit with. Once per turn, when you hit a target with a weapon, you roll the weapon's damage dice twice and use the best roll. So Savage Attacker is a great origin feat to have, and it's going to be even more useful as I get through this build. So now again, like normal, I'm going to go to my +2 and my +1s. I'm going to add +1 into strength, and I'm going to add +2 into dexterity. If I'm going with a 2-handed weapon build fighter, then I need to have light and finesse weapons to be able to dual wield, well, light weapons, I guess, at the very least, to be able to use dual wielding. Light weapons don't necessarily need dexterity over strength, but if you use finesse weapons as well, then they use dexterity or strength, whichever's higher. I'm going to be doing that. The final build of this is going to have 2 scimitars, which are light and finesse. So I'm going to have dexterity be really high here. So let's go back and look at our ability scores. I'm going to have 15 in strength. There's a reason for that, but you're going to explain more of that once I get through the rest of my ability scores. Dexterity is going to be 17. So I've got a dexterity-based 2-weapon fighting fighter here that I'm starting out with. My Constitution is going to be 12. Again, Constitution is important for that fighter class. Intelligence, I'm going to dump. Wisdom is going to be 14. And you go, wait a minute. And Charisma, I'm going to dump. And you go, wait a minute. Why do I have a Wisdom of 14 when I could possibly put my Constitution at 14, put my Wisdom at 10 just to avoid the -1, and maybe put 2 more points in Intelligence to avoid the -1 on saving throws? There's a reason for this, and you're going to see that as this build plays out. Wisdom is an important skill for this build that I'm going to have, but it is also very useful just in general. Wisdom, a lot of the mind control spells, hold person, things like that, are all wisdom saving throws. So having somebody who can help avoid those is also really good. So my proficiencies. Okay. I need perception. Again, there's a reason for that, but that's part of why I have a high wisdom as well, is so that I can have a higher perception score here as I go into this. And then insight, that gives me +4 and 2 wisdom skills that I've got here. My weapon masteries. This is going to be a little different, and I'm not sure how this is going to work at the start, because honestly, I haven't played this in an offline playthrough, and I honestly can't remember what I can and cannot buy at the one and only vendor that I'm going to have access to. I just don't know. If I had built this character out slightly differently to start with, I would know exactly what weapon masteries I want to use. Here, during the prologue, not being able to change it, I think I'm going to have to go with longsword, because that's what I have as a fighter here. And we'll go back to our class and see, we have a longbow here. Okay. So I've got a long sword and a long bow, so I'm going to set up my weapon masteries to be around that. These are not necessarily the weapon masteries that I'm going to keep. It's just I need to have the weapon masteries during the prologue, and I can't change them before I get to them. For my languages here, oh, sorry, as a fighter, I have 3 weapon masteries. I forgot about that. Let's take a short sword, just in case I get access to one. And we'll see. Okay, for my languages, it doesn't really matter. I'm looking here to see what I want to take. So, Halfling and Gnomish. I need to start writing these down, because these are different than what I have written. Okay. And our appearance. Okay. So, we're going to change here our identity and personality.
You must need help with something.
Okay, so let's go with voice 3, I think.
This is the place. I remember being here.
Okay, so we don't really care about customizing look and style and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so everything is done through all of that, so now we can just save. And let me check my notes. Yes. Okay. For my next character here, now we need to get into our spell casting classes. And we're going to go with a Cleric to start. And our Divine Order is going to be Protector. That's going to gain us access to martial weapons and heavy armor. Thaumaturge is more of your spellcaster type Cleric. I'm going to go with Protector here to start with. And for this, I'm going to go with a human. That's going to get me an origin feat here, but First, it gets me resourceful with heroic inspiration, skillful, so I gain proficiency in another skill of my choice, and I gain an origin feat of my choosing, which is down here. So I can pick what I want this to be. Now, I'm going to be getting Magic Initiate Cleric from my background, so I don't want to pick it here. I want to pick something else. And there aren't a whole lot of things that are incredibly useful to start out with. I'm not going to be frontlining all the time, but Savage Attacker could be nice for that. I picked it for my Paladin, or I picked it for my Fighter a little bit ago, and it could be very, very useful. Skilled, having proficiency in more skills is always good. Robust is probably one of the best ones out of this. It gives you additional hit points. It gains whenever I'm doing, whenever I use a hit die to regain hit points during a short rest. I roll twice. It's basically advantage on the healing. And if I become stable while unconscious at 0 hit points, I immediately regain 1 hit point. That's very useful. It's one of those, if you pass your 3 death saving throws and you stabilize, you immediately pop back up. Which can be very useful for your healer if they go down and someone's not able to bring them back up. They can possibly come back up on their own if they pass their saving throws. Quick is going to gain you increased movement speed, and opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you, which is always good for anybody. It's just not necessarily a cleric type of thing. Ready for war, proficiency in light armor, shields, and martial weapons. I don't need that. As a cleric, I already have access to heavy armor, or with my well, I already have access to heavy armor, and I already have access to, and that came from Protector, I'm sorry, came from the Protector choice for Cleric. I have access to martial weapons and heavy armor. So I don't need light armor or martial weapons, I already have it, so Ready for War is pretty much useless at this point. So I think I'm just going to go with Robust. Vigilant is good. Gain proficiency in Perception. If you're already proficient, you gain Expertise in Perception, which can be good. You know, I guess that's probably got Perception over there as well. This would... You know, I'm going to make a change here and just go with Vigilant. I'm going to get proficiency in Perception, so that's going to give me Expertise to make sure I'm not missing any of the traps and that sort of stuff that are in the game. So I'm going to make a change from my notes here for this. So for my background, the background here is Acolyte. Constitution and Wisdom are 2 things that are important for my Cleric, and that's going to get me access to the Magic Initiate Cleric, which is going to get me all my cantrips and my level 1 Cleric spell that I can cast it without using a spell slot. So this is the way I want to go here. And again, let's start here. We're going to put 1 into Constitution, 2 into Wisdom. So for my Strength, I'm going to be 15. I want to be able to wear heavy armor because I have the ability to as the Protector Cleric, and I need 15 strength to be able to do that. My Dexterity, I would like it to be 12, not because I need it that extra +1, because the heavy armor is not going to let me use that +1 to my armor class, but it moves me up in the initiative order by giving me an additional +1 to the initiative roll. My Constitution is going to be 12. And again, I don't need to prioritize Constitution as much because I'm not expecting to be front line all the time here. My intelligence, I'll just put at 10. My wisdom is 17, and I'll dump my charisma. Okay, so for my skill proficiencies here, insight is good. History, might as well take it. There's no reason not to. Persuasion, I don't need it. I've got somebody way better than that. For the additional skill proficiency here from the human ancestry, I'm going to go with, and I'm just kind of looking around to see what I have here, because I think, yeah, I want survival. That's going to get that up to +5. I'm trying to get a good mix of skills between all my characters as well, because there are group checks for things in the background. And having characters that have high numbers in different range of skills allows that group check to be easier to pass. And then select my languages here. I'm going to go with Draconic and Giant. Okay, so here's my cantrips from my Cleric class. Okay, and for the cantrips here, fairly straightforward. Divine Shield, that extra source of hit points. This is broken right now. It's only supposed to last 1 round, but it doesn't. It lasts forever, and you can cast it on multiple people. But even so, it would be it's a good thing, even though it lasts only 1 round, to give somebody 1d8 temporary hit points. Put that on your frontline character that needs to resist some damage a little bit, and it helps protect them. Guidance is a no-brainer, and resistance. Being able to cast this as a concentration spell while you're in a fight to give somebody resistance to that elemental or martial damage with piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning is very, very useful. So my Magic Initiate Cleric feat is going to allow me to select 2 new cantrips here. And Spare the Dying is just way too useful. If somebody goes down, you can stabilize them from 30 feet away. You don't have to run up to them and touch them to stabilize them. So it's way too useful. In tabletop, you always want to take it. In the game here, you definitely want to take it as well. For the second one, there's not a whole lot of these that are extraordinarily useful. Light is really good. It just always is. Allowing you to, without using a spell slot, throw up light so that people who do not have dark vision do not have disadvantage on their attack rolls. So light's always really good. Holy Conduit is great if you're within melee range. The 1d6 radiant damage, and then each enemy within 5 feet also takes an additional 1d4 radiant damage, which, good. What a cleric doesn't have is a ranged attack that they can do all the time to cause damage. Now, Sacred Flame, it's a dexterity save to avoid damage, and people just seem to roll against it, but I still like having it available. It goes 60 feet as a cantrip, which is also really good. So for my Magic Initiate Cleric feat here, this is the spell that I can cast without using a spell slot once per long rest. And that's important for me, and I'm going to use that on Cure Wounds. So it's important to know which one you're picking there and what you're picking it for. So for my body types here, okay, voice 4 we need. This is Karen after channel member. Thank you very much, Sharon. And we'll save that, and let me check my notes. Yes, I think we're good with that. And our last character. Okay, and this is going to be a wizard. Now, I have the choice here on what I want to do with this. That I would normally not choose a wizard here as my damage dealing spellcaster class if I had a choice. In early access, I just don't have access to a lot of the different classes that are available. I would prefer a warlock here if I was doing this myself, but we just don't have it. So I'm going to go with wizard. And when I look at that, I'm looking to see what I have. It's going to get me access to throwing daggers. That's what I thought. I just needed to look at that. So elf is a good choice for this. Gets me dark vision. So I've got that on 2 of my characters right now. Fey Ancestry, avoiding the charmed condition by using advantage on those saving throws is always good. I have proficiency in insight, perception, or survival, which is going to be something I'm going to be picking a little bit later. And trance. Magic cannot put me to sleep. I cannot go to sleep also during long rests. I just go into a meditative state, basically. My lineage, High Elf and Sylvan Elf. Okay, so High Elf, at level 1, I know the Firebolt cantrip. Okay, now this is broken right now. I should automatically know the Firebolt cantrip, but I don't. I have reported this. Hopefully it gets fixed. You shouldn't, when you pick your cantrips, you should not have to waste a cantrip slot picking Firebolt. Because if you pick High Elf, you should just automatically know it. Here that doesn't work. So the High Elf getting the Firebolt cantrip isn't as useful. But the Sylvan Elf, your speed increases to 35 feet. You know the Venomous Spike cantrip to start. So between the two, if you look up here, so I'm going to gain access to the Venomous Spike cantrip. The Firebolt cantrip is really nice, but I want to look at this because it goes 120 feet of range, which is really nice. But I'm going to look at Sylvan Elf right now. I really don't care about the Venomous Spike so much, but I do want to see if choosing this gives me access, if I can choose the Firebolt cantrip later on. So let me just pick it this way first. For this, I want Academic. That's going to gain me the Origin Feat Magic Initiate Wizard, which I want. Plus, it gives me access to Dexterity, Constitution, and Intelligence, which are all going to be important for my wizard. So my abilities, let's pick over here first. We're going to take an additional 1 in Dexterity, and we're going to take an additional 2 in Intelligence. My Strength is going to get dumped. My Dexterity is going to be 16. That's going to give me a +3 to my armor class if I need it, but also move me up in the initiative order, which is why I take it. Having my wizard be able to buff people with Longstrider or something like that if I go that way, or being able to get debuffing spells like Sleep Off for crowd control early on in the fight is going to be very, very useful. Constitution is 14 just to give me a few extra hit points. It's not really necessary. I could allocate these in a couple of other ways, but for this build, I'm going to leave the Constitution there. And then my Intelligence is going to be 17. Got 2 points left. I'm going to up my Wisdom just so I get rid of the -1 to avoid things like hold person and that sort of stuff. For my proficiencies, this is from my wizard class here, so I'm going to take intelligence-based ones. So that's investigation and nature. This is from the elf ancestry, so I'm going to pick survival here. These are all wisdom-based ones, even though I'm not a wisdom-based character. It'll at least give me a +2 in survival, which no one else has right now. And then my languages. Elvish. I think I have to take... Nope, I've taken Goblin. Or no, I haven't. Let me look. Elvish and Orc. Gnomish and Halfling. Draconic and Giant. So yeah, I need to take Goblin here. And for my spells. So I get 3 cantrips for the Wizard class, and I do have access to Firebolt. Again, High Elf. Should not have to select this. I picked Sylvan Elf anyway, which gave me another cantrip, but I want to have Firebolt. Firebolt, you can look up in the upper right hand corner, the range is 120 feet. That's the longest cantrip in the game. And keeping my wizard far back, but still being able to deal ranged damage at that distance is really, really useful. So I'm going to pick Firebolt here. Ray of Frost is just a great one. The hindered condition, meaning it lowers their movement speed, is always really good. And Shocking Grasp, if I do get into that melee situation, I can cast Shocking Grasp and prevent those opportunity attacks when I move away to get out of melee range. So incredibly useful. Hey Dave, welcome. Good to see you again. Glad to, as always, see you here. I've already named your character. You're going to be the Sorcadin here in this playthrough, so welcome. Good to see you. Now my spells from my wizard class. I get to pick 6 of them here. Sleep is a no-brainer. Early on in the game, sleep is just a must-have. It's way too debilitating against groups of enemies. Being able to remove them from the fight and come back to them later is incredibly useful. It loses its power later on as it suffers from level creep, or level lack or level sag later on, but early on in the game, sleep is just a must-have. Chromatic Orb is great. You deal 3d8 of any particular damage type. If you roll 2 8s, the orb also leaps to a different target. And new 3d8 damage rolls are made against a new target. Okay? The orb can leap a maximum number of times equal to the level of the spell slot spent. You can upcast Chromatic Orb. And if you roll 2 8s, it can jump to multiple different enemies. So having an opportunity, it's pretty rare, but having an opportunity for it to bounce to other creatures is great, but just the 3d8 damage by itself is really good. Magic Missile, when you absolutely must have a kill, Magic Missile is the thing to have. There's no other reason not to take it. It guarantees a hit, it ignores cover, and you can stack damage riders on it. So it's just a great thing to have. Thunder Wave, 2d8 thunder damage, and possibly pushing a target away if they fail a Constitution saving throw is a good thing to have. And then Ice Knife. Ice Knife is situational in that it deals 1d10 piercing damage to your target. On a hit or a miss, the Ice Knife explodes and deals 2d6 cold damage to your target and every creature within 5 feet of them. That it says creature, not enemy. So if you have a friendly standing right next to them when it happens, they could possibly get hit by that cold damage as well. And the last thing is protection from evil and good. I don't have any other concentration spells. going right now. And there are a lot of undead in this early access. So having protection from evil and good that I can kind of throw up and give them disadvantage on their attack rolls is a benefit. So my cantrips from my Magic Initiate Wizard feat here. Acid Splash is broken. The range is 150 feet, but you can cast this thing all the way across the map. And it doesn't matter about line of sight. You can just cast it anywhere you want. Again, I've reported it. It's broken, but it's an AoE 1d6 acid damage. Negated by a dexterity save, but again, AoE at any range, even out of sight, is incredibly useful in a video game like this, where you can kind of exploit that a little bit. Okay, I was looking at something else here. Got something different. Okay, Acid Splash. Okay. Poison Spray within 30 feet deals 1d12 poison damage. That's the highest damage out of all of the cantrips that you're going to have. So taking it is useful. And here's my last set of spells. My Magic Initiate Wizard feat. This is the one I can cast without using a spell slot. And I'm going to pick Burning Hands. Again, 3d6 fire damage in a cone out in front of you, so you can hit multiple targets with it, is a good thing to have. So for appearance here, I can't remember which voices we had picked on the previous one. I think voice 1 we still need to have. Okay. And this is going to be Rudy. He likes playing spellcasters. So there you go, Rudy. Welcome to the game again. And I can save. So this is our party. We have Dave as a dwarven paladin up front. And we have M as a halfling fighter that is spec'd around two-weapon fighting right now, even though our equipment isn't going to reflect that. We have Sharon as a human protector, heavy armor wearing cleric, and we have Rudy as a Sylvan elf wizard here. So let's go ahead and jump in and start our adventure.
What are they doing?
They're moving the statue to the city. They do it every year for the holy day of Caladar.
Is this something to do with Marike?
I told you to pay attention during religious studies.
It is indeed the Redeeming Mother, cleansing the condemned before their execution. Even those who fail to redeem themselves in life are forgiven in death. An uncommon representation of our goddess, but fitting for this day of funerals.
About that, we're running a bit late.
Oh yes, I thought I remembered your faces.
We're from the orphanage.
Yes, of course. You're the children Mother Colwell adopted. You must be going to her funeral. Bless her memory. Mahin was a truly righteous woman.
Thank you, Father. Blessed day of Caladar to you.
Mareike smile upon you all, Colwells.
Well, if it isn't good old Landry. Couldn't mistake that mop of red hair for anyone else.
Okay, and we are starting off. Now the first thing that I want to do here is take a look at our loadout. I don't want the javelins here. I want to give my cleric the javelins and take the light crossbow and move that back to Dave. So now I have the weapon mastery slow and the weapon mastery sap. Here I have the weapon mastery sap and the weapon mastery slow. I'm not going to gain any benefit right now out of my 2-weapon fighting selection that I had. That's not going to come until I can get some weapons changed out to allow me to utilize that. The fighter class in the game does not come with like a short sword and a dagger or something like that that I can use. So right now I'm just trying to get active as many of the weapon masteries as I have available to me. And as always, when you start, always look behind you.
Where are you going?
Let's go talk to Landry.
Okay, because there's normally loot behind you in a lot of adventuring video games, and this one is no different. We gained access to some lore about where we are and that sort of stuff, but it really is something that we'll just be able to sell later. Okay, we also have a book here. And again, you can pause these if you want to read them. But again, new lore about where we are, who Mareike is, all of that sort of stuff, and what this celebration is that we're about to go through here. And here we have Landry.
Oh, Landry, is that really you? The one and only. It's been a long time.
Must be 10 years at least. So good to see you. I wish it would have been in different circumstances.
Same here. I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way.
Walk with us. We can speak about the good old days.
I'd love to, but look. The war. Galavan troops had damaged it, remember? Well, it fell off a couple of years ago.
I didn't know. Haven't been back since I left the orphanage.
None of us have. We'll never get there on time if we circle around, especially with that storm coming. Come on, let's climb down. We used to do it all the time when we were kids.
Okay, and this prologue is just going to give you some of the basics of how to move and that sort of stuff. Don't forget to take a book about the Galavan War here. And again, you can pause this. You learn about the things that we previously went through in the Principality of Mosgarth in Solasta Crown of the Magister, the first game. You can crawl through here by clicking on it, or you can just move past it and your characters will automatically crawl. Drop downs are one way. Once you pass them, you can't climb back up. So figure that into your planning. Jumps, everybody can jump across a 2-tile distance. If you have to do more than that, which is 10 feet, if you have to do more than that, you may be required to do an athletics check or an acrobatics check. It kind of depends on the DM. Climbs, you can go up and down. So once you get up here, you can climb back down. You're not stuck. we're going to head out here.
It would have been easier to bury Mother back in town.
Mareike was a big part of her life. She would have wanted to be buried in the old temple.
I hear Rickard is the temple's new solace. He's gonna say mass at your mother's funeral.
I guess that's why he called for us. It must be tough for him.
Let's hope he doesn't down a bottle of liquid courage beforehand.
Well, okay.
Okay, so nothing else out here. We can enter into this cave.
Hey everyone, look! The monster's cave! Remember how Mother got mad every time we went down there?
Okay, and your characters, when you're not in combat, will automatically use a light source. If they have a lantern equipped or they have access to the light cantrip, they will automatically use it when they get into a dark area. When you're in combat, though, that's not going to happen. Now, I believe there is a nature check here, which needs to go here. So I'm going to cast Guidance.
Mareike! They're in!
Crabs used to live in there.
Looks like something ate all of them.
Okay, there was the nature check, and I can go looking around a little bit. Holding left alt highlights the crate. Okay, and we got some food.
I'm waiting.
Landry's getting impatient, and I simply don't care. Okay, we have a jute bag here.
Hey, look. The old tower, it's collapsed and ended up down here.
A victim of the war, like the bridge.
Come on, push this bit out the way.
Why don't you do it?
Because my arms are so weak.
Okay, so we get introduced to the push mechanic. You can't push from this side. You can only push from the side that the object is on. So pushes normally are one way. You have to get to another area to access them. Okay, and we're going to go into cautious mode. You can see Landry's in cautious mode here.
What are those things?
Well, they don't look like crabs.
Never seen anything like them. Best to be cautious.
If we stay low, we might get past without being seen.
Okay, so group cautious mode. You have a detection circle around you.
You're sneaking. You have to crouch.
And that's based on an aggregate of everybody, what type of armor they're wearing, what their stealth skills are, that sort of stuff. The two Kavuli, which is what those were,
It's okay.
have now
Good.
left, and you can
Stand up
see
now.
we have some items over here that we definitely want to go look at.
Are you coming or what? Dearest Mareike, those things really gave me the creeps.
At least
Hey,
they've
there's-
gone now.
There's
Let's
another
take a look at these
lantern.
ruins. Move on.
And there's a crate here. Some worthless, well, not worthless, you could sell it. And there's a chest here. Okay, we're gonna get some thieves' tools. Okay, now I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna go over here by Landry. 'Cause I don't wanna.
Oh, I remember this beach.
Oh, damn. Kobolds.
What?
I'm gonna split my group here. I have a longbow. Okay, the kobolds have kind of split. And one of them's going to come walking down this way. Now I'm going to ambush. Can't sense it. Okay, now when you initiate with an ambush, their initiative rolls have disadvantage. So hopefully that lets you roll higher in initiative. And it's funny, my high dexterity character rolled the worst in initiative. Okay, so Rudy, if I move here, I'll have half cover on this kobold. And no cover on that kobold. I'm gonna cast Firebolt all the way down here. This is the great thing about having 120-foot range on a cantrip. Ow! Didn't get a kill. I had a 50-50 shot on getting a kill there, and I didn't get one. Okay, so Sharon here. That kobold is up there. If I move here. Yeah, I think it's gonna have half cover. Yeah, I can see in the upper right hand corner, the very far, you can see the half shield. So I'll have a full attack against the kobold here, but a half cover attack against this one. I don't think, well, my javelins can go 120 feet, so I can reach there. And I missed. Of course I did. Rolled a 2. Always change back to your shield afterward. What happened there? Kobold received exactly 0 damage due to modifiers. Okay. I rolled a 1. And he's got a -1 for some reason. For a damage modifier? It's a little weird. And of course you roll a 17. Okay, good damage on the Kobold Veteran. So he's gonna have 3/4 cover there. Half cover there. I'm looking to see what shots I can get on the Kobold Veteran. Good. This Kobold's gonna dash. There's this one. Okay, and back to Rudy again.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
You suck.
Whole lot of misses early on here. Oh, rolled a crit. Nice. Like it. I'll let them come to me. Target not sensed. Okay. Okay. This is fun. My paladin hasn't caused any damage yet in the playthrough. I think Landry's done the most damage out of anybody. If I move here, he's still gonna have to dash to get to me. Not unless I get a kill.
Don't worry, we'll be fine. But we need to hurry.
We're almost there. Can we take a short rest? I'm worn out.
Fine. Just a short one then.
Okay, so that's going to introduce you to the short rest mechanic. Now, I need a perception check over here, I believe. So let's see who has the highest perception. I got a +4, +5. So let's cast it. Here. Okay, pass the perception check.
We should take a look at this.
And we find a jute bag with some throwing daggers. Okay, and then there's another perception check down here. Right there. Okay, and there. It's gonna get me both of those. And there. Okay, so disarming here is sleight of hand. I'm going to drop a quick save.
Careful, this place is full of kobold traps.
Okay.
Careful, this place is full of kobold traps.
Alright. So we have a jute bag down here, which I can loot. What is here? Okay. So then I can move over here to this chest.
This is too dangerous.
Okay, now I'm going to break my group. I need a perception check here. Okay, so she found the disarm. I'm going to cast guidance. M. Try and disarm it. And again, do a quick save. Okay, disarmed it, and to do a lockpick. Alright, and we're gonna get a potion of healing out of that. Okay, there's also a note in here. Again, about the Galavan troubles. So again, you can pause read that if you would like. Okay, and we have a jute bag up top. It's going to get us studded leather armor. Now this is an interesting, since I built it out with the fighter first, I've got 16. This would give me 12 plus 3, it'd be 15. So my armor class is 16 right now. Yeah, it dropped to 15 because of it. So I'll keep that. Studded leather's light armor, right? Yeah, chain shirt still allows a 13 plus 1 on our deck, so yeah. Not going to have a use for the studded leather. Let's go over here and loot the kobolds. Okay, we got a short bow and we've got a couple of daggers. Okay. So I could swap to 2 daggers right now. I don't have the Nick Mastery, though, and this is why I was... wasn't entirely sure what I could buy and what I couldn't. So let's leave this for now. We'll see if we can buy a short sword. If we can, then that will make things a little better. If not, we'll just have to go with it. And here we have a body that we can inspect.
Poor lad. At least they didn't eat him.
He is with Marike now.
And another dagger. And I think that's it. So now it wants us to take a short rest. Okay, and for this, we're going to try and get some hit points back with a D8 roll. And we did.
I feel better now. Hey there. You alright?
Okay, now these are family rolls. These don't really mean anything. This is a homebrew rule. They made it up for the game. It's basically who is what inside the family. All it does is affect dialogue choices. That's really what it is. So choose the golden child. Sharon is the golden kid. It gives you a thumbs up if it matches well with their personality. So but Dave is the paladin. He's the hero. So Dave's the golden kid.
Still can't believe we're going to bury Mum.
Mum? I know Martin adopted you, but I didn't realise you were so close.
Okay, who's the scapegoat? That's obviously going to be M. It always is. M loves it when I give him the outlaw or the scofflaw or the scapegoat traits.
They were always Marhin's big baby. Go figure.
It's true. We had a special bond.
Well, in your own way, you were special too. You were the one who always got punished.
Okay, our wizard is a top student.
You were definitely looking for it.
And you were always the swotty teacher's pet, weren't you? You still are.
Guys, come on. It might be a day to remember old times, but don't dig up old quarrels. We know where this goes.
And I suppose that's going to be my fault.
You really haven't changed that much.
All right, everyone, listen up. Let's move. The funeral is at midnight, and we still have to climb that cliff.
Yes, sir.
Hey, isn't that Deorcas?
It looks like it. What's she doing?
What do you think, dummy? We're burying Mother. Like you, she's grieving.
Okay, enough. Let's go. It's time.
Okay, so
Hey,
now we're gonna
come and take
kind
a
of
look at
just
what I found.
make
Up
our way
half up.
through this. The
Great.
jute
I was
bags
wondering how we were
are
going to get up there.
empty.
I had a vague memory there was one around here somewhere, so we just started hacking away at the branches.
Is there supposedly something down here? Oh no, those were the caltrops. That's what that was. Okay, we got a bush here we can loot for some crafting ingredients. Crafting's not implemented in the game yet. You can just sell it all.
You're not too rusty.
You.
Deorcas. It's been a while.
4 little troublemakers. Like old times. You haven't changed a bit. Oh. Landry.
Hiya, Dee.
Is this a party or a funeral?
Ricard sent us a message.
Yes. He sent me one too.
He said you didn't answer. He was worried.
Oh, really? How interesting.
We had to come and pay our respects.
You don't need an excuse. She adopted you. You're her children as much as I am.
It's probably time to go, don't you think?
Give me a moment. I'll join you there.
And as I always mention, you should recognize that voice. That's Dorora Wild. She played Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate 3. It's not the last Baldur's Gate
What was that
3
about, Rick?
alum that we're going to
She
see.
angry at him or something?
Almost there.
Hey, we've got a jute bag here. So let's look at our lanterns. Make sure everybody has a light source. So we don't have one there. And we don't need 2 component pouches. But we don't have another... Yeah, we do. Doesn't need it. He's got dark vision. Okay, so we're going to put our lanterns in the first spot. Or no, we'll put our lanterns in the 3rd spot. Okay. Alright, so we're going to move into here, and in here we have some things that we can loot.
I'm deeply
So
sorry for your
holding left
loss.
alt identifies the stuff that you can pick up. Okay, so we can learn a little bit about the orphanage. We learn that Mahin, our mother, adopted, she ran an orphanage and she adopted the 4 of us.
My
That led us to be
deepest sympathies.
family.
Marike
Deorcas and
welcomes your
Ricard
mother, Colwalls.
were her biological children. Okay, and learn some more lore about what's happening here, about Kaladar celebrations. And then a bush that we can loot for some craftables. Okay, let's take a look at what the merchant sells here. This is what I thought. So, we're going to sell off everything that we don't need. Okay. We already have one of those component pouches. Oh, it's universal. I'm not going to sell that. Got 2 spell focuses, divine. Don't need the studded leather armor. I'm gonna keep the 2 daggers. I'm gonna sell off all the books. And crafting ingredients. Okay, now let's exit, because that's a good call. We have another spell or component pouch. This is a universal spell focus. Your spellcasters need to have a spell focus. Okay, so for my paladin, that spell focus is this holy symbol. I'm not going to want to have that be their spell focus. Because I'm going to want to be able to give them a necklace that deals additional damage later on in the game. But that means I wouldn't be able to cast any spells, like Divine Smite, which would be bad. So I think what I'm going to do here, the Universal Spell Focus, I'm going to move it here temporarily. I'm going to remove this once I can. I'm going to get to that point, and that spell focus will go into one of these slots, so that I can free up that necklace slot. And the short bow here is not an increase over the javelins. Close 30 feet, max 120. Close 80, yeah, so it's range, which is never a bad thing. Are javelins simple weapons? They are. I'll move it here. Get me more range over the throwing daggers. Okay. And then... boy, this is a... if I had the Nick Mastery... I forgot about the daggers that you pick up from the kobolds. I should have taken the dagger mastery instead of the short sword mastery. If I had the dagger mastery, I'd get rid of this. But right now, boy, even though... because this is basically 2d4. And this is 1d8. I would lose some armor class. But I think I'm going to gain damage with this. So let's try this out. Okay. 14. Why is my armor class only 15? Oh, because I've got a -1 in Dex, and I'm using scale mail. That's why. Okay. All right. So before you go in here, drop a save. Because things are going to turn ugly in here.
Rickard.
You made it. Deorcas. I thought you'd never come.
What happened?
I don't know. She wasn't sick, and yet she knew Mareike was coming for her.
It doesn't make any sense.
She left this. For you. D. It's Caladar. Time to honor Mother. We'll talk later.
It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you for coming. I know it was a long trip.
We had to come. She meant a lot to us, but you know that.
Yes.
Lies. Lies. You should have saved her.
I told you. It was Mareike's will. It was her time, and she wanted to go in peace.
Did she tell you that? Or is it what you tell yourself?
D, I'm begging you.
We can still bring her back.
No! She told me not to. She deserves the peace of death.
Try and stop me. Mareike. Nick. Fury! Necro Fury. Mareike. Necro Fury. Mareike. Necro Fury. Necro Fury.
Mareike, Evo, Malmit!
Okay, and you're going to get into a fight here.
Don't fight me.
Okay, I didn't
Stand
need
down.
that,
You cannot do
and I
that.
didn't need the miss
Mareike
either.
won't allow it!
I cannot lose her. Not
Okay,
like that.
so
The pillar!
what I want to
Knock
do
it
here
down.
is try and move everybody farther this way and get my wizard up here. The pillar, you need to push. Okay, if you push this, it's going to end this encounter and the prologue. Now, I want to try and kill as many of the Cavuli as I can. The game is a little bit bugged right now in that there's a find a way to stop Deorcas. Once you get down to this pillar's turn, this is going to change to push the pillar to disrupt the spell. If you kill all the waves of Cavuli, the cutscene will end. The pillar will fall on its own. but the quest will bug out and it won't complete. You can remove it from the list so it doesn't show up on your screen anymore by untracking it, but it's always going to be there. So what I'm going to try and do is kill as many of these as I can, and then get to a point where the last enemy's standing, and then I'm going to break the concentration with the pillar. Okay. So for Sharon here, we're going to, as he's next, hopefully he comes after Dave. So let's go ahead and give Dave some temporary hit points. And I'm gonna move back a little bit here. Okay, now Rudy, I want Rudy to... Can I make it past that without an attack of opportunity? Oh, no. That was... He invoked an attack of opportunity. I'm not sure why I'm able to do this. I'm going to move up here because I can't move past him this way. I'm going to try and get Dave... Or try and get Rudy back here and ultimately up here. So I'm going to dash on this turn. Okay. Hopefully he goes after Dave. He did.
Raike, Abio, Cure!
And a miss. Okay, so him here, I can make my offhand attacks. So let's go ahead and use my bonus action. Here. Okay. And I'm adding +3 to that roll because of 2-weapon fighting style that I took. So now I can go with my bonus action, or I guess that was my main hand action. And then my bonus action again, I'm adding +3 damage to it. So I think this is going to be the better way for me to go about it. If I had the Nick mastered right now, I'd be able to make a third attack with my dagger, which would be really, really useful. I just don't have it. Okay, and Dave. Let's cast Divine Favor.
Maraike, Muto, Viribe.
Gain that additional radiant damage. Okay, there we go.
Stand down! I don't want to kill you, but they will!
Okay, so...
Look! The pillar! Behind her!
So I think I'm going to cast... So what have been the damage that they're dealing? The Kavuli Brute is using Battle Axe, so he's doing slashing damage. So let's cast Resistance to slashing damage on Ricard. Okay, now that is a concentration spell, so I need to try and keep Sharon from getting hit. I'm going to turn her heroic inspiration on here so she can use it if need be. So, Rudy, I need to again dash. Okay, I need to get him up here before I kill this brute, because once I do, reinforcements are going to start spawning. Okay. So, once the reinforcements come in, then Rudy will be in a position up here to start dealing damage out here. But he's protected for right now, which is what I need. He's going to be the one that's going to interact with the pillar as well. Hey, he missed. Good. Get a hit, Ricard. There you go. Good deal.
Marai a BO, Cure!
Okay, so for me, let's go ahead and use my bonus action here. See if we can get a kill. Perfect. And then I'll move up here and use my main hand action. And I missed. So you can see we got a reinforcement here. Okay, big damage against the brute there.
Stop this madness!
Now he's going to dash
She
in.
won't come back! She didn't want to!
I don't believe you! The more you
Okay,
kill,
missed.
the more
Good.
will come!
Okay, so where are we? He's got resistance. Let's give some temporary hit points to Dave here. I prefer not to invoke the attack of opportunity, but I think I'm going to have to. Because when he dies, he's going to get an AoE blast, and that blast I'm going to have to pass a saving throw. And if I lose it, I'm going to pass another one for concentration to maintain resistance. Here, I've got a 16 armor class. Let's see if I can avoid getting hit. Okay, good. So now I can give some temporary hit points to Dave. Okay, so Rudy here is going to be able to move up. And now I can start casting spells. So...
Arcana, Evo. Naoka, Muto. Malmis.
Okay. And then I'll move back. There will be reinforcements that will spawn here, and you want them to move this way toward the middle, toward the main fight, and not come after Rudy here. Critical miss.
Marai a BO, Cure!
Okay, so let's use our bonus action here, see if we can get a kill. And I missed. There we go, now he's dead. There's the explosion. Now I can move through other characters. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move behind him. Actually, I'm going to move over here. Because we got another reinforcement that spawned here, and now he should come running down toward M. Okay, I'm going to dash around here. Ricard's blocking the way, so I couldn't get there anyway.
Look! The pillar! Behind her! The pillar! Knock it down!
Okay, so let's give Ricard some temporary hit points.
Marike Abio Derive.
Good, he's moving toward the middle and not toward Rudy. And Rudy can step up.
Deorcas, Muto, Malmis!
Get a hit. Okay, good. So let's start going to work on this brute here. There's one. There's two. And let's try and get rid of him. Great. Now I've got another reinforcement there. Ricard should be able to move up and move into this spot here in a little bit. So I think we're okay. Still got Divine Favor. He's gonna have to dash in. Ouch. Okay, so we need to throw a Cure Wounds here.
Marike Abio Cure.
And now I'll move back just in case. But Ricard should be able to move into there. I still have a healing word that I can throw out, but for now I'm going to hold it. Okay, so here that's interesting. When I sold off that gem, it removed a material component for Chromatic Orb. I forgot about that.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Okay, so one saved, one failed. But now it's AoE against two different enemies here.
Marike Abio Cure!
There he goes, he moved up. Alright. Now that explosion hits them as well. He just made his saving throw, whereas I didn't. He's going to come dashing down. Nice big hit. And I can use my lay on hands here on me to get 4 hit points back.
The pillar! Knock it down!
Alright, so I say we give temporary hit points to Ricard again.
Marike Abio.
If I kill this one, Dave's going to be in the... well, so's Ricard. And he has another Cavuli here that's attacking. So let's give only one. Doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, so Rudy... I don't think Acid Splash hits them both when they're... oh, it can. And not hit me.
Malmis!
Okay. Oh, he's dead. There's the reinforcement. Roll the crit. Nice. Miss. Okay. He'll dash. Good, he missed. And Dave will start working on this one. And he missed. Okay, so let's give those temporary hit points.
Marike Abio.
Let's... no, we're gonna keep how it is. We're gonna give the temporary hit points. Dave, 7 hit points is great. Rudy's gonna change spells now.
Neoka, Muto, Malmis!
And he missed. Miss. Hopefully I can get a kill here. There's one. Give me a decent damage roll. There you go. Nice. Okay. And I'm going to move up a little bit more. The reinforcement showed up here. He's going to come running around this way. So let me move up a little bit. Miss, good deal. Get Dave an attack here. Roll the crit. Nice. Big damage. I'm gonna move up here. And now this Cavuli's gonna come dashing in. Alright, so Dave still has those 7 temporary hit points.
Marike Abio. Iribe.
Give 6 more to Ricard, that's great. We'll stay back here for the explosion.
Neoka, Muto,
And now there's no cover there.
Malmis!
Good deal.
Marike Abio Cure!
Okay. Thanks for the healing, I guess. I don't want to move there necessarily, but it won't let me hit. This is something in the game I don't like. It doesn't let me, if you're down below an enemy on a step, won't let you attack upward like that, which is weird because if you have a flying enemy above you like that, it'll let you attack upward. Stairs, it wants you to be on the same level with them. I would prefer to move here if anything, but I don't know if I move here it's going to let me attack. It will. Okay, good. Alright, some good damage there. And he missed. Perfect. Let's see if Dave can get a kill here. And again, that whole daggone thing is a little weird. Because of, yeah, see, he would be moving onto a step there. Steps kind of mess things up a little bit. And I missed. So we should come after here, and he missed. Perfect. Okay, now I don't have anything that I need to give to anybody. We still have everybody with their temporary hit points. For some reason, I just can't see Ricard for some reason. But he should still have his temporary hit points. So now we can be a little offensive with it.
Marike, Necro.
The 45% chance for inflict wounds. That's concentration.
Marike, Evo, Malmix.
And look at that. I got Sacred Flame to hit. What do you know? Okay, I think
Arcana, Evo.
I want to try and get rid of them both. No, I don't. Because I still have a few people to go yet.
Naoka, Muto, Malmis.
Okay, we got that one. There's the reinforcement. Come dashing in. Perfect. Card hopefully gets a kill here. Of course not. Now I will move over. Miss. And another miss. Nice. Okay, at least he missed and didn't cause any unnecessary damage. Oh boy. That's bad. If I move there, I'd invoke an attack of opportunity. So I'd like to kill him, but I can't. I'm just going to have to... Oh, I can't. This is so bad. See, the stairs... I can't attack him. It's going to make me move to attack him. That's going to invoke an attack of opportunity from this guy. That's what that yellow arrow is. If I attack this guy, who's up on stairs above me, it's going to make me move over to the side of him. That's going to invoke an attack of opportunity from this guy. So either way, I'm going to invoke an attack of opportunity on this, which is just dumb. It's just stupid. At least he missed. Okay, now again, we can be offensive.
Marike Evo. Malmis.
And that's a miss. He rolled a 20 on his dexterity save. Nothing I can do about that.
Naoka Muto.
Jeez, I really want to get rid of that guy, but
Malmis.
again, too many opportunities for people here to get the kill. So, missed. Perfect. Come on, Ricard, get a kill. There you go. Okay. Now you see we got 2 reinforcements that came in, not just 1. So we're up to 3 enemies on the battlefield now. It would be really nice if I could get a kill. There's 1. Outstanding. Okay. And now we're up to 4 enemies on the field. So let's bring him up here. He's gonna not dash. So they're gonna have attacks now. That was a dash. Good. Dave's gonna move up. And miss. Okay. He's gonna have to dash. Now Sharon needs to move in here and get some healing on card.
Marike Abio.
He's down 12, or he's down 14 hit points. I think it's better off if I use Cure Wounds
Marike
on
Abio.
him.
Cure.
Okay. So Rudy, we have some enemies that are kind of grouped up here. What I would like to do is for him to kind of run up here. That would be probably too much to ask.
Arcana Evo.
Can I get all 3 of them without hitting Ricard? I can.
Malmis.
And only 1 of them failed their saving throw. No, 2 of them did. And I would kind of like to move out here. But I'm afraid. I think I'll stay back. And he rolled a crit 1. Critical fail. Oh, okay. Or you can do that. Well, we definitely want to get rid of him. Doesn't really matter who I go, but let's get rid of this guy here. Well, we're not going to be able to get rid of him, but let's start getting damage on him and focusing him. Miss, good. There's another miss, great. Dave can get an attack here. Good. He's got disadvantage on his next attack roll because he's sapped. And another miss. Great. Okay, so Sharon here can cast Inflict Wounds, but I think I'd prefer to save that for Cure Wounds. So let's just get a regular attack here against the Brute. Okay.
Deorcas, Muto, Malmis!
Oh, roll. Low roll. I needed higher than that. He rolled a 1. If he'd rolled a 3 or higher, I would have gotten a kill there. Okay, well, at least Ricard's dealt some damage. And he missed. Good. Okay, let's get M to try and remove this one. Good. And now start working here. Now we've got 5 enemies on the field. We got 2 more reinforcements out of that. Okay. Okay, good thing he's got... Oh, see? He's... Resistance is not working. Resistance is broken on non-party members, on your allies. He's got resistance to slashing damage, but he's not, the damage isn't being cut in half like it should be. So resistance on him is useless, so I'm going to change my concentration here to Bless. And I need to work on the guy in the middle. Rolled a crit, nice. If he explodes, it damages both of them. Okay, so let's change my concentration here.
Marike, Encho. Derive.
Okay, now I need this guy to move. He's next in turn order. That's good. Let's move here.
Deorcas, Muto.
What do I have? I've got 2.
Arcana, Evo. Malmis!
Dash in. Okay, good. Now I'm going to take Rudy around the back now on his next turn. Rolled a crit. Good. M. Let's see here. I still want you to go... No, because this guy still has to go. So let's drop a... See if we can get a kill here, and I missed. Okay, good. There's a kill. Okay, so Dave, let's work here. And I need to recast Divine Favor. Yeah.
Marike, Muto, Beribe.
Didn't see it wore off. Good, a miss. So Dave has temporary hit points. Let's give temporary hit points to M. And a miss. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to be moving around a little bit here.
Naoka, Muto. Malmis!
And he missed. Ah. Good. Miss. Come on, Ricard. I would have preferred you gone after him, but is what it is. Nice hit. Another nice hit. We're still okay. All right, both of them are very low. Perfect. So they should still have their temporary hit points. They do. There's not a whole lot I need to do now. Ouch. All right, Rudy. Let's...
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Let's get rid of both of them. Then we'll move back. Why is he rolling with advantage? Okay, now I don't want to kill him. Because if I do push the pillar over to break Deorcas, his concentration is going to bug out. So I'm going to take this attack of opportunity. So next turn, Dave will be able to go up there and get that. So he's going to get one more attack. One against M. Ricard's going to get one more attack. I don't think he'll be able to kill him. But we don't need to do anything here. Rudy can't get there in time, so he's just going to move over here. Like I say, I don't think Ricard's going to kill him. Okay, M's not going to do anything. And we'll have Dave push the pillar over.
Holy Mother.
Deorcas call. The Covenant must be honored.
I tried. I did everything you asked of me. Why did you take her from me?
Honor the Covenant.
Shadwin was right. You are the betrayer. And you have betrayed me!
Ricard! No!
O Holy Mother, keeper of life and death, please, hear our prayer. Your devoted cleric seeks your mercy.
Why? The Cold Walls failed to keep the Covenant. Again.
We are Colwalls too. Marhin was a mother to us. We shall honor the Covenant.
You would take Marhin's burden to save her son.
What is the Covenant?
Your sacred heritage. A blessed journey to undertake. A flame to keep alive.
We will.
So be it.
All right, great cutscene there. A god has entered the chat.
Where are we? Deorcas. She sent me back.
Where?
Rick. Why? Why did you have to take everything from me? Shadwin was right. It's all lies, deceit, all of it! Wait!
He's alive.
What happened? Where is Deorcas?
She's gone. Don't move, we'll go get help.
Oh, fine. Guess I'll stay here.
Did that really happen? Did we really speak to Marike?
It burns. God's teeth, I'm branded.
What? Oh, so am I.
Marike's symbol. The message is clear.
I'd have a couple of questions for her.
Me too. Like what happened to Landry? He had nothing to do with all this. What about those weird stone creatures protecting Deorcas?
Well, finding help for Rickard should be our priority.
Okay, so we're going to gain some XP from that, and that's going to advance the quest and give us a couple of others. So, speaking of that, we can track and untrack quests. The main quests here we're obviously not going to complete. You can only track 3 quests at the same time. So, at some point when you get others, you'll want to track them and untrack these. 2 inches from death, though, we are going to be able to complete. There's something that I didn't do that I just now thought about. Yeah. We have chainmail, heavy armor. That does not give you any dexterity bonus. But since it doesn't allow a dexterity bonus, it would up his armor class significantly. And then the scale mail, he was 16. Since it does allow a dexterity bonus, that goes back to 16 and doesn't hurt at all. So I should have had him wearing the heavy armor the entire time. I just forgot that I had started building this character out with a fighter to start with. It worked out okay. The fight worked out how I needed it to, but still would have been nice to have that additional armor class a little bit ago. So we have a statue here, and that statue is going to need a religion check. I'm pretty sure I know who that is, but +3, +2, and -1. So yeah, it's here. So let's break our party. We'll cast guidance
Marike, Devo,
on Rudi.
Marike watches us.
Okay, and we passed the religion check. Now everybody has a heroic inspiration they can use just for this long rest. So make sure you turn that on. Our cleric already has one. Because we have another fight coming up, and we're going to need this. Let's talk to Ricard real quick.
Thanks, I feel much better. But I don't think I can stand yet. Marike's teeth. But I could do with a drink.
Are you being serious, Rick?
Oh, you know I was kidding. It's okay. I'll get some sleep.
Okay, now we're going to be seriously short on some action economy here, especially in the healing category. We did basically take the equivalent of a short rest, so we can cast our free cure wounds again, but we didn't get all of our spell slots back, so we need to kind of approach this, what we're about to get into, very cautiously, and that's because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wood fairies, and we have 2 garden dryads back here. The garden dryads cast a poison spike, so since I'm resistant to poison, I want to make sure that I get Dave into that fight against the dryads as quickly as we can.
Over there.
Stay behind me.
We're grown-ups, you know.
Okay, now we're going to try an ambush here. I would like to get actually a little closer, but I don't know if I can because the wood fairies have some weird perceptions that go along with them. But let's see what we can do here. Think I can reach him from there. So let's start an ambush now. Okay, and again our paladin rolled the worst. That's going to happen a lot because he's got that -1 to dexterity. But let's drop a save here before we start. Okay, so everybody here would have full cover, or 3/4 cover. Range, I am. Okay, and I'm going to try and move back. Try and keep them out of the ranged attack envelope of the dryads. We're going to cast resistance to lightning damage. I can't cast resistance, so let's cast Divine Shield here. Give him some temporary hit points. So let's get M all the way up here. No, actually, let's see if we can use our bonus action first. Kill. Now my main action, let's go ahead and dash over here. That'll get me within melee range, so they'll have disadvantage on the poison spike that she's going to throw here in a second, but it does get me closer to everybody. So let's see what happens here. Okay, missed. Yep, there's disadvantage, but still hit. He's going to move out of range. I'm going to spend my heroic inspiration to get some damage there. Okay, they're moving back toward my spellcasters.
I know.
Okay, missed the attack on M. Dave is going to move up here. He's going to take the attack of opportunity from the Wood Fairy. I'll take that. He doesn't have any spell slots left. Okay, so Rudy here.
Arcana,
Let's do this.
Evo, Malmis!
Got that kill. Sharon, we're gonna move her over here. And her give temporary hit points to Dave. And M. He's got 3 temporary hit points. I think we get close to this Garden Dryad again. We take the attack of opportunity from the well. Now let's try and get damage on the Wood Fairy here. And I missed. If I'd have hit both of them, I might, and I missed them both. Great. If I'd have hit both, I might have been able to get a kill and then just move over here. Now I'll take the attack of opportunity and move. I'll take the attack of opportunity there and got a kill. Nice. So he had disadvantage on that. This Wood Fairy's attacking, that's okay. They're going to have disadvantage on the Venomous Spike here. And it missed. Perfect. Now let's get Dave over here. Again, within melee range. And I missed on both of those. Okay, so let's again.
Arcana,
you absolutely
Evo,
have to have
Malmis.
a kill. So Dave still has temporary hit points, so does M. So let's go offensive.
Marike, Evo. Malmis!
And it missed, of course, because it's Sacred Flame. Get M over here. Okay, good damage. And a kill. Like it. So she'll have disadvantage. Good. And an attack of opportunity. Alright, so let's move Rudy into a spot where there's no cover.
Neoka, Muto, Malmis!
There we go.
It looks like we're not welcome. They're
There's
Fae.
a perception check
I
here.
guess we're trespassing in their territory.
Maybe. Let's just stay alert.
Hmm? Did you see that?
What?
Some kind of giant bird. Stay alert, everyone.
Okay. So let's go loot here. And we're just going to find some crafting ingredients. Normally some mana dust. Okay. And I don't pass that perception check very often. That's the way you're going to end up going. So I don't know if that perception check leads into something. The giant bird. I don't see anything. We're just trying to get help for Ricard. Let's come up here. I don't see anything else. Like I say, I don't pass that perception check very often. See, I don't see anything in particular that it gets you. It might be something that's just unimplemented right now. Let's go ahead and take a short rest. Oh, we can't. She's already gotten her... or used her hit die. That's not a problem. We don't need anything else until we get into this next section, so we'll be fine. Hitting left alt to make sure I identify anything as we go. There's a vista here. They built a pretty world, I'll tell them that. Tactical adventures put together a really pretty...
It would be much simpler if we actually knew something about this place.
very pretty locale. Okay, and now here we're going to come into this garden. There's a group here waiting for us. And they better be friendly. Because we have like 14 hit points. So they better be friendly. We have some things that we can do first. We have a jasmine bush here. And I think that's it. Okay, so let's go into the center here. We're going to save. You don't really need to. I don't think there's anything else back here. Let's move back and check. I don't think it's going to let us go back there, to be honest. I think once we get to a certain point, it's going to trigger this cutscene anyway. But... there was nothing back there.
Well, well, well. And just exactly how did you get here?
You wouldn't believe us if we told you.
Huh. Perhaps not.
By the Nexus, Steelmind. You weren't joking.
More Argad spies. And this time in Our Lady's private estate. Lucky for us, her little bird spotted them. It seems our feathered friend has her uses after all. I want to know how they got past our security.
You mean you didn't ask them?
Apparently, I wouldn't believe it.
Look, we're really sorry if we're trespassing. We were teleported here against our will. We're not spies.
Ha! You know what? You're right. I don't believe you.
Nicely done.
We are going to have to sort this out.
Okay, now my personalities again that we talked about last time, they're going to start reacting
Right
in
now,
different ways.
drop your weapons and show your hands.
We need to ask a few questions first.
Did you hear that, my Lord Steelmine? The trespassers want to know if we can answer a few questions.
Strangers, this is your final warning. Drop your weapons now, or we will use force. What is it to be? Choose wisely.
And yes, Rudy, you're absolutely correct. That's the bird that they were talking about that we saw. It doesn't change. That line is still the same regardless of whether you pass the perception check or not. So I'm not entirely sure if maybe something's different in the full game if you pass that perception check, or maybe it's something that's unimplemented right now. Maybe it changes this dialogue somehow.
Wait, you have to help us. Our brother's over there bleeding to death.
A fifth one. This is an outrageous breach. We need to sweep the entire area.
Look, it's just one man. He's gravely wounded.
If you're telling the truth, then nothing bad will happen.
But if you decide we aren't?
Just do as you're told and drop your weapons.
If you insist, but we've done nothing wrong.
You can discuss that with your Argad friend in a cell.
You're making a mistake.
That's what they all say. Magic will reveal if you're telling the truth. If not, you'll hang with the other one.
And if we're innocent?
Well, then you really do have an interesting story to tell. One perhaps even the Lady Anabasia might want to hear. But don't get your hopes too high. Throw them in the cell next to Yorka.
Yeah, some lighting issues there in the game, but it's early access.
Might as well get cozy with your Argad friend. He ain't got long. Here Lord Steelmind is looking for his head. Guess you'll be next.
What friend?
Psst. Hey, are you part of Gilana's outfit?
Who? What? No, we're not part of anybody's outfit.
Shh. I know you can't talk openly. Beacon eyes and ears everywhere, I get it.
It's time, Yorka!
Crap, it's too late. We need to trust each other. Please, find Damien in the lion's den. Tell him 8 circles make 1.
What? But...
No time. Damien's waiting for me, but I won't make it. Tell him not to wait. He has to finish the job.
Where's the
lion's den? East side near the shore. An ancient sickless ruin. Damien's hiding there.
Shut your trap, Argad spy. Time's up.
Make sure you aren't followed.
Jira sharing secrets with ya? Ha ha ha! Don't worry. You'll be joining him on a gallows soon enough.
But we don't know this man. We're not spies.
Ha! Yeah, pull the other one. Now, move your ass, Yorka.
Long live the Republic! Death to the beacon! Oh!
Save your breath, Yorka. Not many left. You're next, rebel scum!
Everyone okay?
Not too sure. It feels like a nightmare.
If only. Mareike, the funeral, Rickard, it's all real.
And this mark? What have we done? We should never have accepted this quest. We had no choice. Mareike would have killed us all. Don't forget, she's the goddess of life and death.
So, just a little bit of a spoiler here. First, that's going to give us the Jira's secret quest. We're going to get some faction updates, but just a little bit of a spoiler. This is the last remnants of the Manacalon Empire. The Empire yelling rebel scum at somebody. Obviously, somebody at Tactical Adventures is a Star Wars fan. So threw a little Easter egg in there for us all if we're as Star Wars fans. So now all we can do, if we look at our quest journal, we did get Jira's secret. We're gonna untrack these two. The Lost Sister, Mahin's Burden. Again, we're gonna untrack 2 inches from death. We need to take a long rest, and we're gonna track Jira's secret. So what we have to do now is just take a long rest. And before we do that, we're gonna open this crate because there's some food in there. Okay, you can't open the door right now. Okay, so we're gonna get our spell slots back, hit dice recovery, the Paladin healing pool, and spell slots. Okay, and we can level up. Okay, so let's walk through this, and this will be the last thing that we do today. So our wizard level up, we're just going to keep straight wizard for him. We need somebody who's going to be able to get a feat here. Level 2, you're going to gain arcane recovery. So after a short rest, you can recover some expended spell slots up to half your wizard level, rounded up. You cannot recover spell slots above level 6. You can use this feature once per long rest. So it's a way to kind of like the warlock to get some of your spell slots back on a short rest. We're also going to our class features here. We're going to look at here in a second. So we can reset our skill expertises. So now we get to make an expertise in a certain skill. History is one that I definitely, well, history and investigation are both very popular checks that you have to make here in the game. So either one of them is good to have expertise in. I think just looking at this list, it's about half and half. But I think I'm going to go with investigation. And we're going to gain 2 more spells here. Okay. So the spell choices here at this point are fairly, it doesn't matter. So to speak, shield is just great. So for that one, it's a no-brainer. Take it. Gives you a +5 bonus to your AC until the start of your next turn. It also grants you immunity to magic missile, and it uses your reaction, which is good. Anything that you can get to use your reaction is great. It's a good thing to have. Color spray, the blinded condition is okay. Hideous laughter is really good. It's negated by a wisdom save. So I think it's probably the way that I want to go. I mean, mage armor is always good. In early access, you don't have any need for Featherfall or Expeditious Retreat or Longstrider per se. Comprehend languages or identify, but these might be useful later on. These are both ritual spells, which are nice if you don't have all the languages covered. You can cast Comprehend Languages. Identify is a ritual spell, which again, if you don't have a short rest available to identify items, you can do it here. Longstrider is not a ritual spell like it is in Baldur's Gate 3. Otherwise, you just cast it on everybody when you wake up, but it's not a ritual spell here. So it's of less importance. So I think... Boy, it's tough. I think I know what I want, but we'll just stick with mage armor. It's the classic. Okay, for our paladin, or actually for M here, we need to replace the weapon masteries. So we're going to get rid of the long sword, and we're going to add in the dagger. That's going to give me the nick action, which is an amazing action to have. And we're going to level up. Okay, so for here, we're going to multi-class. And we're going to move into rogue. Okay, this is going to give us sneak attack. Sneak attack is an additional d6 of damage. It's a massive damage increase. So we're going to add in rogue here. And this is also why we went with dexterity. You need to have a minimum of 13 in whatever these core ability skills are to be able to multi-class. So that's why we went with a dexterity-based fighter to start with. The fighter got us 2-weapon fighting to give us the extra bonus on our dual wielding. But we needed to have at least 13 dexterity as well to be able to multi-class into rogue. So let's look at our advanced leveling. It's going to give us rogue armor training. We don't need it because we already had proficiency with all armors and shields. It's going to give us sneak attack, which is huge. Deals an additional weapon damage when striking an enemy with a finesse or range weapon. Okay, so it's got to be a dexterity-based weapon. So that's why the longsword isn't going to be something we're going to be using anymore, because we can't get sneak attack with it. And you're going to get it either when you have advantage or if a friendly creature is standing next to the enemy, which is what we're going to be using most often. Okay, so we're going to get some expertise choices here. So we can reset these. Sleight of hand is what we need to get our skill proficiency in here. So we're going to up that to level 5. We want to be the rogue character here that's opening chests and disarming traps and that sort of stuff. For our expertise, we want to expertise sleight of hand. And we're going to expertise perception. That's going to help us find those traps better to be able to disarm them. We can gain another language here. I think we have all the languages covered. I don't think there's anything that we need. And then we get to choose 2 new weapon masteries. So we're going to have 5 weapon masteries here with him. The short bow we already have. That grants you Vex. Or we don't have short bow. That grants us Vex, which gives you advantage on your next attack roll, which means you can gain sneak attack on that attack roll. So it's important that we have something that does that. We also have the dagger. We have the light crossbow gives you nick, which is of less use, but still okay. And then we're going to pick the scimitar, which is going to give us the nick action as well. Okay, and then you can finish. And now, Dave, our level up here is going to stick with Paladin because we need to get Divine Smite. This Divine Smite is given to you when you level up to level 2, okay? And that Paladin Smite, you always have the Divine Smite spell prepared. This is what can... And in addition, you can cast it without expending a spell slot once per long rest. That is the part that can break if you selected the Divine Smite spell at level 1. You won't be able to cast it for free when you get to this level. It just, for some reason, it's bugged. So you don't want to select it then. You want to wait until level 2 to get it here. So now you can cast it once for free, and then you can cast it again using your spell slots. Okay? So our fighting style. So Blessed Warrior, you learn 2 cantrips, and the cantrips use Charisma as your spell casting modifier, not something that we want to do. 2-weapon fighting we don't need. Shielding is just amazing. It allows you to use your reaction again, which is a good thing to do, to be able to use your reaction to give someone standing within 5 feet of you a +2 bunch to their armor class if they're about to get hit. Defense is also good, giving you +1 bonus to your armor class, but shielding is definitely the way to go here. And then we have a new set of spells here to learn. So out of these, Shield of Faith and Searing Smite are the two good ones to have. I've got Bless, which is what I'm gonna tend to do for my concentration spell instead of Shield of Faith. So I'm gonna go with Searing Smite here. And then our Cleric. So for now, our Cleric is going to stay a Cleric. Okay, because that's going to give us our Channel Divinities. Okay, so we're going to get a Divine Spark heal, which is basically a ranged 1d8 healing point plus my Wisdom modifier, which is +3. A ranged damage, which is 1d8 necrotic damage plus my modifier, or radiant damage, all at range. But we get Turn Undead, which is really the bread and butter Channel Divinity for a Cleric. So let me look at our weapon masteries here. So we have Longsword and Light Crossbow still, that's fine for now. And my prepared spells. We always have Divine Smite prepared, and the ×1 shows that we get 1 free. So yeah, I think that's good prepared what we're gonna have. Okay, so we can end our rest.
I have orders from the Lady Anabasia. Fetch the prisoners immediately.
Well, the Argad spies? To the palace?
Do you have a problem obeying orders?
No, my lord. But they're dangerous.
Not to Our Lady Anabasia. Now do as you're told.
Yes, my lord. Of course, my lord. At once, my lord. You, stay in there and wipe your feet, you worthless scum.
Okay, now we're going to need to follow the Jailmaster.
You're going to meet with the Lady Anabasia.
But we are not going to do that. We're going to drop a save here. And that is going to be a great spot to end the live stream for today. So we did start our multi-class journey. We moved into a rogue. We started as a fighter. The reason we started as a fighter was so that we could get the two-weapon fighting style early on in the game. That makes up for not having sneak attack early in the game. But now we have 2-weapon fighting and sneak attack all stacking together, which is going to start making our rogue a really substantial damage dealer as we go through this. As we get their weapons built up to be the final set of dual-wielding scimitars, they are really going to be a damage-dealing machine. Basically, that additional +3, flat +3 damage on both your primary and secondary attacks, and on the nick attack that you get, the third attack that we're going to be able to get, is going to be amazing for dealing out damage here. So that's something I did want to focus. A fighter-rogue combination is very, very popular in tabletop, especially if you're going the dual-wield route. Splashing a couple of levels of fighter, or going the opposite way, splashing just a couple of levels of rogue to get sneak attack, and then the rest of it fighter is a massive way to boost your damage throughout a tabletop campaign. So going to experiment with it here. Our paladin is still staying level 2 just because there's no reason to change to sorcerer right now and forgo divine smite. Divine smite is what it is, but those will be the last 2 levels that we take in paladin. From now on it'll be sorcerer for the level ups for them. The cleric's going to stay a cleric and the wizard's going to stay a wizard throughout this playthrough. They just don't have any real synergies that make a whole lot of sense. I could add in some fighter levels to gain action surge for my cleric, which is a very popular thing to do. It's just when you've only got 4 levels, it's not really going to gain a whole lot for my cleric. So, but we'll be exploring that more as we go. So, as always, thank you all for being here. My channel members, especially Rudy, thank you very much for being here during the stream. I always appreciate your support. My longtime viewers, David, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Daniel, again, thanks for being here. And thanks for the comments. I really enjoy interacting with all of my community because, as I always say, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.